So let's have a look at my experience and let me know in the comments down below which quilt you like from Quilt Con. So here is a little walkthrough of Austin Quilt Con 2020, and as you can see there are so many different stalls at these quilt shows, and they all sell different things. Like you can buy fabric from there, you can buy sewing machines, you can buy long arms. Lots of very well-named companies are there. It's an amazing place. There's lots and lots of vendors. I'm just approaching one fabric store here. Look at all these different fabrics, and how they set up the stores is absolutely amazing. Fabric patterns, like quilting patterns. Let me know if you've ever been to one of these quilt shows. This is the biggest one that I've ever been to. This is Quilt Con in Austin, Texas, and it moves around every single year, so it won't be in Austin, Texas next year, it'll be somewhere else. This is an area where they give talks and they have a screen set up. A lot more quilting pattern companies, area to sit down and have a coffee and your lunch, thread companies, more fabrics. It's a quilter's paradise, I tell you. If you've never been to one of these quilt cons or a quilt show, you need to go to one. It's just amazing. You could spend like 2 days just going around all of these stores and having a really good shop. So many different vendors. There's another pattern company for quilts. The next few slides are going to be stills. So there was a running theme of black and white quilts, and the reason why this is because the quilt guilds actually challenge each other and they do it by a theme, and this theme for Austin Quilt Con must have been black and white because there was so many black and white quilts. Now you can see anything from like raw edge applique to paper piecing to quilt blocks. It's absolutely amazing. And at QuiltCon 2020 there had to have been at least 1,000 quilts on display. It was absolutely incredible and so much inspiration. Here you go, here's another black and white one. This one was quite interesting. I do apologise, some of these photographs were taken vertically until I realised, oh, I could make a YouTube video out of this. And this is my favourite, of course, because we've got kittens on a quilt. I'm going to call them kittens. It could be dogs. This one's a good one as well. I think this is probably the drunkard's path looking at it. Some really good quilts out there, some very creative minds. And I love the colours. I really do love modern quilting. It was done by the Modern Quilting Guild. And Quilt Con always moves around different places in the States, like I said. Oh, and there was lots and lots of social justice quilts. This is another one. Yeah, and here's another one. It's very inspiring. I think this was done by a child, this solar system. There was a youth category, and this is one of the winners, I think. I'm not quite sure what entry it was. Here's another social justice one. I think they're called social. I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping I'm saying them right. I don't mean to offend anybody if I don't. Another black and white one. There was like inspirational quotes on quilts. I've never even thought about doing that before. I really love this one. It's another one of my favourites. See what I mean with all the black and white? This is really cool, this one. I like this one. You'll have to let me know your favourite. More black and white quilts. This one said I love you to the moon and back. Another social one. Isn't this a lovely quilt as well? Have you ever got the chance to be at a quilt show? It was absolutely so much inspiration. This doesn't really show up too well, I think because of the lines. Quite like this one as well. This was amazing. I've got a close-up somewhere, I think, of the hands. Obviously not on the next slide. So much work has gone into some of this. Was absolutely huge, and it had skeletons on it, skull faces. Not quite sure how this quilt is done. I should have looked at it a bit more closely. It's quite interesting. This is my favourite of all the show. This is raw edge applique, and this is a close-up of the eye of that quilt. And another one here of the lips. Just mind blown by that one. That was good. I love raw edge applique. I have to do some of that. And I like this one as well. This is something that I would do for sure. Just this one's incredible. So I got this one in again. Let's appreciate this one again. It's so good. And here's the hands of that other quilt. This was just all white, and it was just free motion quilted. Well, I've got that skull one on again. Let's just appreciate the skull one again. Here's another one of it was just all white, and it was free motion quilted. This one's kind of cool. And I like this kind of black and white one as well. Just look at that quilt. It's amazing. I didn't quite get that one, but if anybody knows what that means, please let me know. This one was really cool because, as you'll see in the next slide, it's literally made up by all of these circles. Look at that. How much work has that gone into that quilt? And this is cool as well. This was all hand quilted. So here's a close up. All hand quilted. Not done on the machine. Hand. And that's interesting. I quite like this one as well. There's a close up of the free motion quilting on this one. Here it is. That's something I would do as well. I love that free motion quilting. This one's amazing. Look at that quilt. So many cool quilts at Quilt Con. Here you go. Mary Ann Fons. Rubbing shoulders with the famous quilters of the industry. This is cool as well. Again, another black and white theme. What's your favourite quilt? Let me know. Were you at QuiltCon this year? Are you going next year? Any ones with the ribbons on means that they won some sort of award at QuiltCon. Of course I'm going to show you the Baby Block booth, because why wouldn't I? So this is the Baby Block mid-arm region. Go and try it out, it's phenomenal. Here's a Solaris, top of the line sewing machine. The Sashiko, see? You don't have to do hand sewing. Have machines for that. Here we go, we've got some sergers, top of the line serger, the Baby Block Triumph. Got some lower end ones. And we've got some sewing machines, the Jazz. Look at all these. Which one's that? That's one Soprano! Yay! Crescendo. Look at it, Soprano again! So many wonderful machines. There's a Baby Block Solaris. Go and check it out. It's awesome. Get to your Baby Block dealer. Here we go. Here she is. This is the Regalia, the Baby Block long arm. She's a beauty. Isn't she just a beauty? 12-foot frame. Make the space. It's worth it. Don't do your quilting on your machines. This is just to give some perspective of how big this show is. At least 1,000. I have to say 1,000 quilts at this quilt show in Austin, QuiltCon. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss seeing me next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.